In this video, I'll be ranking the episodes in Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, the fourth installment in the Ace Attorney series. The game was first released for the Nintendo DS in 2007 before getting a worldwide release a year later. The game brings back some examination elements that were present in Rise from the Ashes, the bonus episode from the first game, such as getting a closer look at your evidence from all angles, and also ushers in some new forensic investigation techniques. Another new addition to the game is the bracelet, which you can use during witness testimonies to catch nervous habits and gather more information. Of course, this new addition is because you're playing as a new character named Apollo Justice, who's starting off as a rookie attorney. Anyway, this video will obviously contain spoilers, so make sure you play through all the episodes in the game before you watch. Let's get started. Number 4, Turnabout Serenade. It was either this episode or the previous episode that was getting the bottom spot, and you know what? I think this one deserves it more. The idea is that during a Gavner's concert, which includes a special guest, that being the mysterious Borginian songstress Lemurrar, her manager, Roman Latouche, is shot and killed in her dressing room. But after his body is moved to the stage, guitar in hand, the 14-year-old blind pianist Machi Topai is arrested under suspicion of murder. So the goal is to prove his innocence, which is apparently harder than it looks, especially after you gather the facts of the case, which has left many people astonished how Machi became the suspect in the first place. Let's get the elephant in the room addressed real quick. The logic doesn't all seem to flow. The murder weapon was a .45 caliber revolver set to injure a shooter that isn't trained to use such a powerful weapon. Yet the suspect, a frail boy, doesn't seem to have any injuries on him. And apparently, the prosecution expects us to believe that a shrimpy boy is capable of moving a giant all the way from the dressing room to the stage without being seen. Unless he's been eating his spinach, that's just not possible. Heck, even the real killer would have a tough time with that, and yet he did it. Obviously, the purpose of this episode was to demonstrate the flaws in the current legal system and the need for change. The kid was arrested simply because he was among the only two people that didn't have an alibi that night, and was the only one who could have used the air vent as an escape route. But even once you figure out the murder took place earlier than initially proposed and everything else surrounding the mystery, such as the cocoon smuggling, the episode is still fundamentally flawed. Constant flashbacks, constant viewing of the same freaking video, even the same parts of said video. Even one of the characters is sick of it. Maybe some can find merit in this episode and that's all fine and good. I just wish it was written way better, that's all. Not only is it my least favorite episode in the game, it's my least favorite episode of all time. Number 3, Turnabout Corner. Another low-ranking case in the series overall, at least if you want to talk with a fandom about it. It's pretty easy to see why people would take issue, though admittedly the concept is pretty cool. We start off looking into 3 seemingly unrelated crimes, which are hit and run, a panty snatching, and a noodle stand theft. But it turns out that all 3 of these crimes are connected by a murder in the middle of the park. The murder victim is Pal Maractus, director of the Maractus Clinic, and the suspect is the only son of the Kitaki crime family named Waki Kitaki. Boy, oh boy, have we got our hands full with this boy. The episode does have merits to it, like it's great to see Emma make a return after Rise from the Ashes, and even testing out new forensic investigation techniques. We're also introduced to Trucy Wright, a parent teenage daughter of Phoenix Wright, and the game's main prosecutor, Clavier Gavin, the younger brother of a defense attorney that's been incarcerated for murder in the previous episode, and the frontman of a European rock band called the Gavners. I like Clavier because he stands out as one of the less antagonistic prosecutors in the series. Putting it simply, he's a breath of fresh air. While the episode has its positives, it's also very strange with its humor, especially the magic panties, which becomes a recurring gag in the rest of the series. Even the first time is crazy when you got this male college student who has such a big interest in them, though it's really just to figure out a magic trick. It's also strange how the crime is carried out. You're telling me a doctor mistook an unconscious person for a dead one and died himself as a result of that mistake? Being in a panic is one thing, but dude, you're medically trained. Oh well, this one was pretty low, but I liked it more to Turnabout Serenade, which is saying something. Number 2, Turnabout Succession. This episode is fine, but I'm not exactly sure that's much to brag about as a finale. 2 cases are observed here. First is a more current case. A sheltered girl is accused of poisoning her father, and Apollo takes on her defense. The case is one that Phoenix himself set up as part of a test for introducing the juris system back into the courtroom, which is strange if you live in America because our country's trials have been determined by a jury for decades, not an ace attorney, however. Anyway, Phoenix chose this particular case because the victim and his daughter had a very strong connection with his last case as a defense attorney, where 7 years ago he unknowingly presented fabricated evidence. Another strong connection is soon apparently also found with another defense attorney who is currently imprisoned for a seemingly unconnected crime. The real strange thing about the juris system is less to do with how it's being run, but more about who's running it. Phoenix Wright, a former defense attorney that's presented forged evidence, now working as a professional poker player and lousy pianist. I'm not sure someone who's said to have forged evidence is someone who can be trusted with the job of head honcho. Then there's the Mason system, which is a way to leap between the two cases in an attempt to solve both and gather some Ace Attorney lore, specifically Trucy's family. It's a neat idea, but it's just another investigation chapter with starch. The cases themselves are flawed, though decently put together, but it hardly seemed that it mattered in the end because in future installments, the juris system is never used in the courts again, Apollo still doesn't know who his mother really is, and the final act of Turnabout Succession is a bit underwhelming. Not much to say about this one, it just exists. Number 1, Turnabout Trump. How does a game have such a strong beginning, but everything after that feels kinda lackluster in comparison? Maybe not entirely lackluster, but you get the picture. I think we can mostly agree that this is the best tutorial case. It's just the right length, at just the right difficulty, and a pretty well established case. A rookie attorney named Apollo Justice for his first trial is representing former defense attorney Phoenix Wright, who now works as an amateur pianist, though his real job is as a professional poker player that hasn't lost once since he began 7 years ago. He's accused of the murder of his poker opponent, a mysterious traveler named Shady Smith, about whom we know little else. Sure, maybe a tutorial case, but it feels like such a well-made no investigation episode that could have been placed at any point in the game. Your standards are probably set pretty high for what the rest of the game had to offer after this episode was done, but then as you play through the whole game, most likely you'd find yourself thinking, wow, they had so much build-up for what was to come, yet none of it holds a candle to the first case. I don't know any other game in the series that had me feeling this way. That's not to say the rest of the episodes don't have their cool moments, but they had a lot to live up to and just could not deliver on the same level as Turnabout Trump. But as a standalone case, the first episode, at the end of the day, is still brilliant. What a way to start the game before messing up the rest. That's all for this video. What's your personal ranking for these episodes? Be sure to post your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.